I tell you, I am everybody should know I was recently in Brazil. I was recently in Brasilia, the capital of Brazil, and wonderful place, nice place. But I tell you, I wanted to get back home. You know what I mean? I wanted to get back home. I mean, of course, I missed the hurricane. I wasn't here for the hurricane.
I was just going to ask if you were here for it.
I was not here for the hurricane. You can imagine my anxiety and so forth about what's happening and all the tragedies that we had. But I tell you, and then American Airline wasn't to be back. I'm really glad Carnival took place. I tell you, there's nothing better in spite of the hardships and tragedy, but being back in St. Vincent and Grenadines and playing your part in some way or the other.
Anything happened to you personally? Not to be too much in your business, but property-wise and so forth. What you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, what I mean, I said that so that he could use his discretion in terms of answering.
Can I tell you, I mean, personally, from a home point of view, no damage. But the mangrove was devastated. The mangrove served its purpose. There was huge storm surges there, and mangroves, what they do, they stop the storm surge. And also the winds, as we knew, was the main thing with this hurricane. A lot of the mangrove were sheared off or cut in half. These were some of the tallest white mangrove. They were cut in half. So we got a lot of devastation out there and so forth. But I got a team who put it together. I back in my shot, using my chainsaw out there, getting things done. I may not look the part. But
what part am I supposed to imagine you looking at?
I sometimes give the impression I'm some nerd gentleman and so forth. But I tell you, Christal, I'm a rough individual, and so when it comes to the chainsaw and all those other things and getting things done, so I like doing those things. I'm trying to put nature back to nature and understanding this whole thing of climate change and the warming of the seas and how it's causing the hurricanes. And I wish we could do a lot more programs about that to educate people. But sadly, it's considered to be a bit boring. You know what I mean? So it's nice when we could talk about a variety of things. But the mangrove got devastated. But we rise again. We're going to put it back together. Like Humpty Dumpty, we're going to put it back together. You know what I mean? That's the point.
But one of the things as I am thinking about, even us putting it back together, and as I said before, it's to rebuild better and rebuild stronger. But the prediction is that things are going to get worse in terms of the weather, the climate, and I mean, maybe it's not necessarily going to be a case where, let's say, SVG is going to be affected with every passing tropical wave or every hurricane. But, it's how many times are we going to probably be going through this? In years to come, how many times are we going to go through it?
We're going to go through this every year. And people don't realize the ocean, which occupies about 2/3 of the Earth's surface, absorbs most of the heat. And so that rising temperature is fueling these hurricanes. And sadly, as you've heard, they're starting further south in the Atlantic and further south in the Pacific too. But by starting further south, they're now able to reach us. And this predictable thing that the winds will blow them north, and some of the northern islands, sadly, our sister islands will be affected. It's not necessarily going to be the case. So we are going to see a lot more of this, and we have to play our part. And I think each individual can. Now, us playing our part may be small compared to what China, India, the United States, and Europe needs to play. And also the contributions they need to do to compensate us. I've got to say compensate us in the sense that we are more affected as small islands, low-lying states, and we need our sea defenses, and we need our rivers, cordoned off and bridges built higher. But that's going to take a ton of money. And when I'm hearing about $300 million to rebuild houses, that's a ton load of money to rebuild houses in St. Vincent, Union Island, Canawan, and so forth. And we know that's a challenge. Persons are not given that sort of money anymore. So we'll come up with some nice strategies.
And time. It will take time. But it's just I don't want to say fascinating. Sometimes it wasn't really come to me, especially early in the morning. But especially Monday morning, yeah, you can feel the energy, you can feel vibes. But so the much larger countries that burn a lot more fossil fuel, that are the ultimate culprits for these things,
contributing to ozone,
right?
Yeah, the warming of the ozone layer and everything else.
So it's them who mashing us up, right? But we can't go to them. But the people who are majority, or the things that you see in the media, the messages, people who are targeted, right, are people like you and I.
Yeah.
Small people. I don't own these big corporations that burning all this fossil fuel. I might consume some of the goods that they sell, but overall, I don't burn that much fossil fuel.
Yeah.
But I'm the one who has to separate my garbage. I have to look at my litter. I have to reuse, recycle all these big R's. I have to look at what I'm buying. Me, the small person. But the big people who have the biggest impact, we can't get a hold of them because, okay, cool.
Yeah, well, Christal, I gotta say it even bigger than that. Climate change, a lot of people, our own people, don't understand climate change. You see, but I hear there's a whole set of snow coming here, and then I hear is over there dry and so forth. How could this be? What is about climate change? And there's record snow and there's record this. Think about it. That's it. Whole places are changing up. Those places that were once wet are getting dry. And those places that were dry are probably getting a little wetter, flooding, and so forth, if low lying. And what I'm fearful of is for our agriculture. When these storms come and mash up our plantains and so forth, what happens to the price of plantains? It goes up. The warming of the sea, you know what it does to the fish? The mahi-mahi and all those fish that are considered to be nice, oily fish that has omega-3 fatty acids we should be eating, they swim north. They leave our shores, But what's even more fascinating, of course, besides the damage, and the loss of houses and so, is sadly insects, diseases, mosquitoes. And when you have mosquitoes, you get dengue. There's a massive outbreak of dengue over in Central America right now, and I hope that we don't have a surge of that, because it means there's just a whole ripple effects that are taking place, and the effects on the economies, and so it's just great. But these are boring topics. That's the point. These are boring topics.
The thing of it, I could probably say maybe like a few years ago, I might have thought of it as a boring topic. But the thing of it is that we are legitimately feeling the difference now, right? And I think one of the things, and this is why I tend to ask the questions, like for older folks, is, was it always like this? Like, I don't remember the nights, because last night was extremely warm. Last night in particular was extremely warm. And I think it was because of the change of temperature over the past days, or like last week, right? But I'm now feeling the difference. I'm now feeling the changes. And I suppose in a way, is it being documented, or was it ever documented, right? Because it's like, I have to ask the older folks, was it this way before? I notice even during the Christmas period now, it's not as cold as it used to be, or it's not as cold for a significantly longer period of time as it used to be. And I've noticed that observation for probably the past 2 to 3 years. So even within my lifetime, while it is that, yes, before I may have thought of climate change as being a dull topic, the point is that I am currently living through the changes. I'm actually seeing and feeling the difference now. So,
you hit heat. I'm going to surprise you. Tornadoes and cyclones and hurricanes and earthquakes, and there are more people who die from heat-related deaths. That's heat strokes, heat syncope, heat-related deaths than people who die from all other types of disasters. And the heat that's taking place in terms of the way it manifests itself and so forth, and people's ability to drink water and all this other stuff is really a big problem. And for the elderly and for the very young, they're the ones. And so often you see an elderly person who passes away. We don't often think that they may have really had a couple extra years, but during the night, as you're saying, those the way in which they're heated, they actually may die of a heat stroke or something of that nature. And this is worse in some places more than others. So I'm just really mentioning. That's why, as I'm getting old, I'm now drinking a lot more water. I'm drinking a lot more coconut water, Christal. I bought a bottle of coconut water.
Oh.
Yeah, Dave. No, one of those.
Oh, you buy.
I got coconuts, but somebody's been eating my coconuts. Somebody's been drinking my coconuts. But somebody, I gotta find out.
Somebody probably been teething your coconuts and selling
well,
them.
the teeth, I think they do. But the point about it, I couldn't, the thing of going through, I went and bought a bottle. And I found I was drinking it. I finished the whole bottle. You understand? I should have done that. That's probably not the right thing to do. But Christal, the coconut water tastes so good. Sometimes I don't like it so young water. I like it a little sweeter too. But Jerrol Thompson felt good after that. It was worth it.
Yeah, weird enough, coconut water has a stranger effect on me. I don't know, because when I drink too much and I break out in pimples, I don't know, my body just wears slightly differently. I don't know if it's too much, if I'm consuming too much, but yeah, it does have that weird effect on me. Like too much of it, it's weird.
That's
it's
a
weird.
big surprise.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I'm surprised. Well, you see, you probably need to see a good doctor, good allergist. You know what I mean? Or somebody. Now there probably isn't any allergist in civism besides a person that I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Besides Jerrol Thompson.
I would drink one off, but I can't drink it consistently, every day. Nah. All right.
Yeah.
I could drink it. I could drink coconut water every day.
But it's good hydration.
Multiple times a day. I can't wait for my son to like it. But anyways, 8:22 is the time. The WhatsApp number to reach out to us is 4579997. Please don't call because you will not get through. You have to call via WhatsApp. So let's head into. Tell me.
Go ahead.
I was going to head into the weekend.
Yeah.
So we had 2 homicides over the weekend. Donald Trump had an attempted assassination. So let's start locally with the double homicide. Paul Yard, Saturday night. A 30-year-old Jamal John and a 16-year-old student. Oh yes, you did.
The 16-year-old student in Paul Yard as well.
Yeah.
Both of them in Paul Yard.
Yeah.
I think the student was actually a student at a grammar school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Passed away. Form 3 student. Passed away over the weekend. At the hands of the gun. Again, there was a third gentleman, but he was only injured. So he survived the attack. So that now takes our homicide toll to 27.
Is it 20? I think it's 20. Why did I think I read 28?
27.
Okay, but go ahead. Go ahead.
We could double check. 27, 28, too high. But here we are. I know that I was seeing the 30-year-old gentleman, John, is actually a twin. I know his brother. Fruits guy. He sells fruits. Condolences to yourself and your family. So your thoughts on fact that it's double, 1, Paul Yard, 2, and number 3, 16-year-old. Those are the top 3 things that stood out to me.
I was trying to figure out the grammar school student. He is actually from Paul Yard.
I'm not certain exactly where he's from, but
because I was wondering if it was a situation of maybe just wrong time, wrong place. In terms of how did he get? Well, how was it that he got shot? And was it a case where the other person was actually the main target and he got shot as a bystander in a sense? This is one of these topics that, and I've told Christal this before, that I've gotten tired of talking about them. And this is not to say that I am not feeling, I'm not empathetic, or I'm not sympathetic to the families of the victims. But at this point, am I going to be outraged every Monday morning or a couple times within the week, right? At this point, really and truly, what can be done to mitigate, to lessen, to stop this from happening or these situations from happening? What exactly is the problem? You know, many times persons want to say that unemployment is a reason behind it, but this doesn't sound like it was a robbery, right? Because from what we've gotten so far, the information that we've had so far, it doesn't sound like it was a robbery. So sometimes you might say a robbery is a justification for these things happening, but at this point in time, it just seems like people are just shooting people. And what is the reason behind it? So at this point in time, I really am not sure what it is that I'm supposed to say every time this happens. What am I supposed to say on radio every single time that this happens?
This is a shocker. I mean, I grew up in Annesville. I saw the emergence of Pole Yard. And Pole Yard has had some mixed reputations of some challenges, violence, and then at times things would be just calm as a community of people knowing each other and so forth. It's certainly a community that, with the expectant commencement of construction of the modern of the acute referral hospital, acute care hospital, that there may also be some changes and some relocations and so forth and things like that. But it may also be something of recent years. I got the impression that it's been also a little bit of a transient community. Some people have moved in temporarily, moved out, found some space, some lodgings and things like that. But we never really get the full stories about these particular murders until sometime later. And it allows a lot of speculation as well. Just to the questions you asked, you know, the young grammar school student, why was he there? And you call us in?
Let's take a call this time. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Roleza, Christal, and Dr. Thompson. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm living my best life.
As you should.
I just had to put that one in. I'm Dr. Thompson. I was invited to speak to a bunch of parents. I mean, these folks are so wealthy. There are no buses. You have to make an appointment to go shopping, and the children are being shuffled to school. But they had a problem. There was disruptiveness amongst the young people, and they couldn't figure out why, because they have everything that money could buy and more. So they got bored and they went into neighborhood like areas and so on, and did what is called, Dr. Thompson would be familiar with this, mailbox bashing. They'll take baseball bats and just smash the mailboxes just for the fun of it. They'll break into people's houses, not out of need, but simply because they're disruptive and dysfunctional. So when we use the excuse that there's nothing to do in St. Vincent, it's unemployment, this is why the young people are disruptive. If you give every young person $1 million today, somebody's going to take a gun and blow somebody else's head off to get that extra dollar. I'm going to go off because it sounds like the reception is very bad here. You guys have a great day.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Something else that is going around, chitter chatter, it's been a debate over the past couple of years. The fact that Poliana has no electricity, it makes it easy for these sort of crimes to happen and for folks to get away because no electricity. There's no electricity, no light. It's easy to just run in and run back out. Nobody sees you. Nobody sees you coming. I don't know if that's something that's worth discussing at this time. I feel like Ethel, you have to take a break. Maybe persons could let that settle in until we resume. What do you think?
I'm also surprised at that. I did not realize
I
that.
don't have electricity.
That everybody in Polia did not have electricity. I would challenge to whether see if that was actually the case.
Well, they might have their own, like somebody might be fortunate to have a generator. But there's no connection.
Connection. And Vinlec gives a connection based on land ownership and so forth and things like that. Or if the government says, let's say, connect these persons anyway, but it's usually linked to some sort of title to the land. But as I said, I have my suspicion that in the near future, there's going to be some aspect of relocation. We saw with the cricket.
Right. It was
next year.
Yeah. It was stated that they'll be relocated. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm hoping that issue of lighting and so forth and maybe on water and all these other things is dealt with. Water is easy to get a connection with, but certainly electricity seems to be a problem.
But Doc, as you said this though, there are times when I have to wonder. Now, I don't know the reason for the killings, and it's not the first time that this happened in Poliad as well, right? But if we are going to relocate a community of persons, you still have the same individuals. Would it necessarily change these individuals when you relocate them to a new position, to a new place, right? Because in sociology, that's it's going to be that transference. It's not a new environment doesn't always necessarily change things completely.
I want to disagree with you. You look at areas like down in Bottom Town, a number of individuals were relocated just in the view of WEFM. You could see the houses over there. I've gone and visited some of these folks. They keep in their yards.
Okay.
There's pride. There's a certain building of community. People who they know, who they understand, they know who is there and has had difficulties, who might have been to jail before, or who might have traveled overseas, or who's pregnant, or what. That's part of a community. One community is very similar to others. I do think though that Poliad, when one relocated, will do fairly well, and it won't be strictly an isolated. They will be attached to somewhere where they are. But it's difficult to find land these days. That's the problem. Anywhere from Barely right up to Georgetown, all government lands are literally being soaked up. So it's a matter now of having to buy land and so to do these kind of relocations.
I'll be fair though, I did have the same question. Not that I'm saying anything about persons within the communities, but I was just curious about that transference of the same type of, because you're just moving an individual to a new place, but learned behavior is not something that is necessarily going to change automatically.
But I tell you, there's some wonderful, hard-working human beings in these communities, like Poliads, wonderful people in Polia who want to do a little business, sell something, do something, work hard.
Yeah.
And so we sometimes can brand an area and persons from an area as being bad, but things have changed. You see, Paul's Avenue has changed significantly. Thriving business community and so forth. Bottom Town is changing. Areas, people have come to St. Vincent. Anthony Gutierrez asked the Prime Minister, where are the slums? You understand? Where are the slums? And so when you look at other countries, I tell you, go to India, And you see, India has a population of 1.4 billion people, and almost half the people live in abject poverty. You go to some places, no toilets and so forth. You go to other islands and so forth. You know, the type of housing and so forth. There is real issues that are created. So I'm not really sure what it is. I want to go back to it, maybe interpersonal relations, the way in which we handle problems is the big issue.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a break at this time, and then we're gonna come right back with Activated Mornings. All right. So you can send your messages to WhatsApp 4579997, and when we get back, we'll get into it a little bit more.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there, reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands, providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents SwiftPack Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
Did you know? Have you used them? Vertis, Medushi, Lilies. These are among the best bathroom tissue products available any place. Excellent quality, larger sheet sizes, and more sheets per roll. Check them out and compare with others. And guess what? Guess what? These are produced right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I tell you, Vinci's have class. Yes, real class as always. Let's keep our standards high. Buy Vertis, Medushi, and Lilies. Made by St. Vincent Containers.
Alan Smith and Family Bakery, the worldwide name for all your bakery needs. Specializing in wedding cakes, birthday cakes, the world famous hard dough and light dough, multi-grain by special order, and now available baguette bread at all your leading supermarket outlets. And for that sweet tooth, currant rolls, jam buns, homemade sweet bread, guava and apple tarts, butter and oatmeal cookies. And for your savory needs, beef and chicken patties. Alan Smith and Family Bakery supplies bread to the Grenadines, Leeward, and Woodward side of the island. Contact us at Alan Smith Family Bakery at gmail.com. Call us 457-8317, 457-8550, or 533-0943. Located along the main road in Camden Park Industrial Estate, we are the healthy choice. All our products are made with 0 grams trans fat ingredients. Quality is our passion. We open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Sundays and public holidays, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thank you for your patronage over the years and for your continued support in the years ahead.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, SVG, we have returned, and in studio with us, we have Christal, Dr. Thompson, and myself, Roleza, here for our Activated Mornings. Now, usually at this time, we would have courts calling us, court's desk. So if the representative from courts is hearing us, you can call us at this time. Remember that you can only call us on WhatsApp. So the number to call will be 457-9997. All right. So we will just continue the conversation a bit until we get that call coming in from courts. All right. All right. So yeah, we were talking. Christal, you didn't give your thoughts.
I feel really saddened by it. I feel really saddened. Every time there's a homicide, I feel really saddened by it. Regardless, because like I don't think that things have to get to that end. But oftentimes we do not know a lot of the backstories, as in what might have led up to this. Was it, unfortunately, drugs? Was it just a little disagreement? Was it over relationship? Was it over, ownership of piece of land or property, some disagreement, some family dispute? Was it over ammunition? Because, like what was the lead up? But you see, some people are becoming so heartless or have become so heartless, like any little disagreement is just a pow to result. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
It's Amigo from Coach Cash.
Hey,
Hi. We're good. What about you?
I'm good. Just coming off of vacation.
Oh, must be nice. Welcome back. Hey.
Off a carnival vacation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So what can you tell us today?
So, the general public show that, right now, Coach is in this and you're trying to get a quick and easy loan anywhere in Citizen and the Grenadines, right?
So, stay right there. Don't move.
Tell you why. Sorry?
Stay right there. Keep the phone right there. Don't move.
The connection we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
No
right?
shift.
So I'm going to tell you why in a second, right? So the process for us is very simple. All you need is 3 simple documents: proof of identification, proof of address, and proof of income. Nice, simple, easy. Once you remember those 3, then you're good, right? So that your proof of identification will be your ID, your passport, driver's license. We even accept police IDs, farmers IDs, fishermen IDs, right? So if you never credited, you just bring in 2 of those and you're good to go. For proof of income, that would be a recent payslip, or if you receive an NIS, then you can get the form from NIS. If you're receiving a pension, you can go to the company where you get any pension from your previous employer, and they will give you the letter, or you can bring in the payslip if you get a pension from the government. So that can be used as well. Even if you're self-employed, then you can bring in your receipt books, bank statements, stuff like that, just to show, right? So we deal with people from all walks of life here, so you don't have to be employed per se. So even if you're receiving pension or you're self-employed, then you're still eligible. You can still come in and get through. And for the proof of address, that would be a recent utility bill, right? So bill no more than 3 months, right? So nice, simple, easy, right? Proof of identification, address, and income. For first-time borrowers, you can get up to $4,000 cash. If this is your first time credited from Codes, you can get up to $4,000 cash. And otherwise, the maximum amount that we lend to our customers is $20,000. Quite a lot of money, right? So you can come in and get up to $20,000 here with Codes Ready Cash, right? If you come in for a business loan as well, you can get up to $27,000. So $20,000 if this is for a personal loan, and if you come in for a business loan, up to $27,000 EC dollars, right? And we also offer a lot of different types of loans. So we have something called the payday loan, and that loan is interest free. But we only lend up to $1,000, but it is interest free, and you can get it for 3 months, right? So interest free loan. If you're interested in that, you can come in and ask about our payday loans, and then we'll be able to help you. Or if you can't remember payday, you can come in and ask about the interest free loan, and we're good to go, right? So you can get up to $1,000 interest free, right?
We listen.
Yes, nice.
So we also have a promotion running that is due to finish the end of this month. So that promotion is if you come in and take a loan of $3,000 or more, one lucky customer will get a chance to win back the loan. So if you come in and borrow $10,000 and you win him back $10,000 cash. If you come in and borrow $7,000 and you win him back your $7,000 cash. So that is the promotion we have running until the end of the month. So you can come in and ask about that as well. You take out your loan and then just look out for the call just in case you win at the end of the month, right? So that is the promotion we have running currently. And we've been here for a while, and some people still may not know where we are located. We are located opposite the General Post Office in Kingston. Nice and easy to find. You will see the two signs right above the building. That's a Coach Ready Cash. So that's when you come in, just look up and you see the signs, the Coach Ready Cash.
And outside
opposite
blue.
the General Post Office. Yeah.
And outside blue,
Outside blue, yes. And then if you walk in coming from Bickles, it is right before you reach Lady J. So right in the heart of Kingston, nice and easy. You can call 494-5380 if you want to call us to get some information before you come in, because a lot of people may be coming from far. They want to make sure they have everything in place, and we have all the information we need before they come in, because it's quite a far distance for some people. So 494-5380, 494-5380. That's the number to call. You can call that just to make sure get everything in order before you come in, right? And we open from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Mondays to Fridays, and we don't open on Saturdays. So Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Right?
All right.
So just remember 494-5380. That's the number to call. And the best place to get loans in Simmons and the Grenadines. Right? Quick, nice and easy.
So I could get a tide over after Carnival loan.
Of course. Some people have certain expenses. You spend a little money on drinks for the carnival and you say, oh, you want something to build it back up. Then you could come, you go to too much party, you spend too much money. And you say, boy, I want a little money to carry me to the end of the month, boy, or something. Yeah, Coach Ready Cash is the place to be.
Okay. All right. So anything final that you wish to leave with us?
I'll just give you the basic information again.
Sure.
So it would be proof of identification, address, and income. So that's your ID for identification, ID, passport, etc. For proof of income, it would be most recent payslip. And if it is your first time borrowing, you will need a recent job data as well. Or even if you are retired, self-employed, you can still bring in some documents to show. And proof of address, so a recent utility bill or bank statement, and those three things you need, just keep those in mind, and then you can call 494-5380 if you want to make sure or get everything. So 494-5380, that's the number to call.
All right, and everything is quick and easy. Finding the place is quick and easy, and the process is quick and easy, right?
Of course, very easy. You can get your loan in 24 hours.
All right, lovely. All right, so thank you very much for joining us this morning, and maybe we'll hear from you again next week.
Of course. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, take care. Have a good one. All right, so that was our Courts Desk. So we're going to take a very quick commercial break and then get back to wrapping up this particular hour of our Activated Morning program.
When you're behind the wheel, stay alert. Driving safely should always be your top priority. Protect yourself and other road users by keeping your attention on the road. Stay alive, avoid distractions like cell phones, and maintain a safe distance from other vehicles. Only overtake when it is absolutely safe to do so. And remember to be on the lookout for motorcyclists. The life you save today may be yours. Alert today, alive tomorrow. This message is brought to you by AKT Motorcycles, available at courts.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Cloud9 wants you to know that they're having their biggest sale ever. Save between 50 to 80% on everything store-wide. shoes and clothing for the whole family, toys, household items, swimwear, and more. Don't miss out on this crazy sale. Everything must go. What are you waiting for? Get it before you miss it. Offer applies while stocks last. Some restrictions apply. Cloud9 is open Mondays to Fridays 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturdays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Boy, that's where you getting crashing on. Your brakes real good, boy.
Now brakes alone good enough. My tires good too.
Tires? Where you get them tires, boy?
Out by Caribbean Tire Plus, man. They out in Addersville. Can't miss it. Look for the orange container on them. Plenty parking space and open 7 days a week all thing, man. Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call them today. Caribbean Tire Plus, 784-432-4786 or email ctiresplus@gmail.com.
Just for you at Quartz Optical. Get 15% off. When you bring in your prescription from any other eye care provider, we'll give you 15% off the cost of your frames and lenses. So visit us today and get 15% off. Offer valid on cash and credit purchases. Conditions apply. See in-store for details. Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
99.9 WEFM.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so we are back with you for about 9 minutes within this segment of our Activated Morning program. So we are going to move into another topic. Yes, the attempted assassination of Donald Trump.
Attempted
assassination. What are you guys' thoughts on it before I give
Crazy.
mine?
Crazy. Like never in my probably entire lifetime. But we've lived through some assassinations. We have. It's right here in the Caribbean too.
We have?
Jovenel Moise, Haiti. Haiti's
President.
Still assassination. Killing of a president while in office. Yeah. But I just never would have expected this. At 78 years old, you're giving a speech and you have to be ducking and
You
running.
never expected this for Trump?
Yeah, for maybe for America too.
All right.
Okay, you clearly think
No,
differently.
go ahead. All right, you know what? Let me stop interrupting.
No. It's not the interruption. It's the kind of interruption. It's like America. All right. Okay. So is it because of the relaxed gun laws why you say America?
I think it's because of the candidates.
Trump,
I think it's because of the
he
candidates.
pulls in those kind of people. I don't know. Anyways, 78 years old, you're running for president. I mean, that's one thing. Number two, the attempted assassination. All right. Next up, you.
My thoughts?
Yes, your thoughts.
I will be very honest. Initially, when I saw it, from the angle that I saw it, I wondered if it was real, right? Because we know of Trump's personality, right? Trump is very much out there. He's larger than life. And I personally can't understand how it is that Trump is even being considered as a presidential candidate at this time. But anyways, right? So initially when I saw it and the angle that I saw it, I thought it was, in a sense, a bit of theatrics, right? Given the type of personality that Trump has. And what it is that lended to it as well is that I found that the Secret Service, they did not seem to react as quickly enough as I thought that they should have. And even the spectators, they seemed a little bit confused in a sense and not as reactive. But what it is that I gathered when I was listening to the news last night, many of them thought that it was fireworks. They didn't think that it was actual bullets that were given off, right? But then afterwards, when I looked at it from another angle, then I did realize that, yes, Trump was actually shot at. So apart from me thinking that initially, it is distasteful in a sense, because I would not have wanted, even if, and again, as always, with everything else in life, even if you are not in agreement with somebody, even if you don't like somebody, even if you are opposed to political stance that they take, it should never have to resort to violence. The thing of it is that the person who did it is only 20 years old, right? This also calls into question, Trump is not just a presidential candidate, but he's also a former president, which means that the security around him at all times is supposed to be beefed up. There are questions being asked in terms of how is it that the roof that the 20-year-old on, how was it that that was not, that someone wasn't stationed on that one? There are also reports of persons saying that they alerted the police that the person was on the roof, but the police did not take it seriously. So there's also now this question, this back and forth issue of, well, not so much a back and forth of who really and truly should have had jurisdiction in terms of securing that. And ultimately, it really should come down to Secret Service, right? I mean, the thing of it is that, yes, we've heard of assassinations taking place before John F. Kennedy was assassinated. But in this day and age, and given the type of personality that Trump has, and given that it was an open environment, it should not have come down to this situation happening at all.
Mm-hmm. True.
This is a real serious matter. I understand what you're saying. There are a number of people who will say this is a setup, and so you hear those calls. I was reviewing Facebook, and then somebody had made a comment that their review of Facebook, the post, was suggesting that sadly they wish that the shooter had been successful. Now, clearly that shouldn't be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that this incident is going to have some impact on the whole presidential race. There's no doubt, I think it will generate some sympathies for Trump. And especially after Biden's performance and the challenges he's going through, what sort of impact is that going to have on the presidential race itself, especially in these marginal battleground states? But I want to also say, because some time ago, I want to say this very carefully, there had been some people intimating here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because St. Vincent itself was going into how many years with one political party, and the prime minister basically running again, that the only solution was like to take out the prime minister. And I think this came through in the form of song. This came through in the form of calypso. This came through in that particular way, and it was criticized in some regards. A person was saying, no, I'll take it lightly, there's something that wouldn't happen. I think that going back to the United States, there's a number of desperate situations. People, whether you're on one side of democracy versus the other, fears of loss of democracy, whether you're on one side debate of the right to life, right to abortion, really to what extent, I have seen where people have bombed a clinic that provided family services, not necessarily abortions.
Just abortions, right?
Right? Not necessarily abortions, but bomb that particular clinic in order to stop those type of things. We've seen attempt assassination around the world, coups and so forth, and taking place. I think it's something that is here, has been here, and it's come front and forward. This is gonna shape the debate for this upcoming presidential election, which affects the whole world. But no doubt, I also believe it's going to have an impact on the Caribbean in some regards.
In what way you mean?
Well, I think that there maybe a thinking that by some, it could be one individual, a group or so, in any island, as you mentioned, had occurred in Haiti, that the only way that they could propel change is through violence. We have been talking most of the morning about a 16-year-old and a 30-year-old and a 63-year-old and other 27 persons who died as regards the reason why and so forth, and coming up with formulations as regards why. Do we have to come up with a formulation as why somebody would, if somebody shoots at a 16-year-old, what's the reason? If somebody attempts at some sort of political figure or religious figure, the Pope or whatever the case may be, then why too? I think that security issues for us, being bystanders, going into your home, simple robbery, or whether it's a serious conspiracy, I think it's something that really is going to become more prominent in our thoughts and our thinking.
Some comment from the WhatsApp. This attempted assassination in some weird way can boost his chances of him winning the presidency again. That's one. There's another one. I'm wondering if the shooter used himself as a sacrificial tool for Trump to get sympathy or votes. Was it worth it?
Released it yet. I'm sure of that. They're going through phones, they're going through email contacts, they're going through WhatsApp,
Social media,
social media. They'll have an idea. But the Republican convention has started in Milwaukee, right? And